Level 5, Crosstalk. Following a similar train of thought to my previous level, how much crosstalk does digital audio have? None. Well, at least none while the audio is in digital form. But an analogue tape recorder? Lots. So what is crosstalk? Well, let's suppose you record the sound effect of a ticking Rolex watch on track 12, and then you record a Jimi Hendrix sound-alike guitarist on track 13. Playing along in time. Okay, so your music's pretty weird. But then you decide that you don't need the guitar anymore, so you mute that track on the console. But you can still hear the guitar clearly in the sound effect track. That's crosstalk. Crosstalk can occur in a variety of ways, but basically it's the sound from one track leaking into another, usually an adjacent track. This can occur electrically or magnetically. And although in this example you can probably erase the guitar track and get away with it, sometimes the crosstalk is burnt in. Broadcasters in particular hate crosstalk because someone might be swearing into a microphone that's faded all the way down, but the gets through to air by crosstalk. In music recording, it's normally just an irritation. But again, digital audio has none. Level 6, distortion. Analog tape distorts more than a Funfair mirror. So what is distortion? Honestly, it's pretty much like a Funfair mirror. So if you hold a ruler in front of the mirror, the ruler is straight and the reflection is bent. So on tape, the signal you're recording is, well, correct rather than straight, but what comes back from the tape is a bent version of the original signal. This adds frequencies that were not present in the original. Okay, a small amount of distortion can pass for warmth, but what we're dealing with here is more than a small amount. In analog tape, there's always a trade-off between how much level you put on the tape. More level gives you a better signal-to-noise ratio, and the signal-to-noise ratio of tape, even at best, isn't anything to brag about. But more level on analog tape gives you more distortion, unlike digital where the audio is clean all the way up to the top. So compromise is necessary, which is one of the voodoo arts of analog tape recording. Level 7, dropouts. Turn on, tune in, drop out. If you've heard that before, maybe there's a good funeral plan I can tell you about. In analog tape, a dropout is literally where the audio drops out. Mostly it just drops in level and high frequency, but at worst it can pretty much disappear completely. The cause of dropouts is defects in the coating of the tape. Even premium brands had occasional batches that were dropouty. Just invented a new word there. Or there might be a single reel out of a box that was bad. Normally, a dropout would last a fraction of a second and be hardly noticeable. But I remember recording on a new reel and there was a series of dropouts, bad ones, that lasted around 20 seconds. Fortunately, it wasn't a live recording. But although a good reel of tape wouldn't have any significant dropouts, analog tape also suffers from micro dropouts. This isn't really an official term, but if you listen to a sine wave recorded on tape, you'll see what I mean. This may sound bad, but it is in fact typical. I've used recorders all the way up to the mighty Studer A820, and even the best aren't much better than this. Fortunately, we don't generally listen to sine waves for pleasure, and this issue is rarely audible in music. Level 8, erase depth. Listen to this. It's a simple guitar chord intro, but listen again. There's a strange guitar solo going on in the background that doesn't seem to match. Okay, so this was just the second time I'd hired a pro recording studio at the tender age of 22. I'm playing the chords. The guitar behind was caused by the multitrack recorder having an inadequate erase depth. The studio worked on the basis that you rented the multitrack tape, it had been used before and would be used again after your session. So the guitar solo, if I can call it that, is a remnant from the previous session. Oh well, it was the cheapest studio I could find at the time at £200 for the day. That would be nearly £1,300 now, but it was a great investment for experience. History tells us that Iron Maiden recorded their demos in this studio. I wonder.